The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. The Red Sox Racing League takes another trip after a short break here to Japan, near Mount Fuji, to the Fuji Speedway for race number 5 of their Fall Series campaign. LMP3s and GT4s alike will take to the track, and we will see who comes out on top. Welcome everyone to PTR TV for today's broadcast of the Red Sox Race League at the Fuji Speedway without the chicane layout. It's going to be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth and in the production truck for the calls here on the evening. So be here to give you all of the action as the Red Sox Racing League does take to the racetrack here tonight. Currently have, what do we have? About 7, it's like 7 LMPs, and we have about 9 GT3s here on the evening. So a modest sized field here from Japan, as qualifying is currently underway for our LMP3 class. We'll bring up the timing and scoring on the screen right here. Of course, this is a very, very hard time for the Red Sox Racing League, as anybody who has followed the socials and our page and the Red Sox Racing League page, you will know the big announcement that came that league admin Terry Dahl unfortunately is no longer with us. He did pass away unexpectedly on Sunday, so everybody in the league here turning out in support of a great person, both a avid sim racer, admin and owner of this league for quite some time, and overall just a great person. So racing in honor of Terry here tonight, and everybody wants to put on a good show and support each other in a difficult time here. Of course, we're all friends virtually, but we do have out of sim relationships with people, and always hard to have these events happen. So in honor of Terry, we are going to have today's race here at the Fuji racetrack. Up on the front row in the LMP3 class, you can see Ryan Robertson up by 0.2 of a second over Mitch Heller. Not too far back is Todd Marin-Pietri there, about 0.7 of a second off of the pace there. And then, as you can see down in the GT3 lineup, it is Dave Hill up by a pretty fair margin there, about 0.4 of a second over Mark Kadrowski in that class. Now, Kadrowski last race, I can't say last week because it was 2 weeks ago, he had the race won at the Indianapolis road course, but unfortunately, and as much as I hate to roast on him, self-induced mistakes have been the Achilles heel of Mark Kadrowski all season. And he had the race, and something as minute as the pit exit blend line was what caused him there. He merged just a smidgen too early. The simulator did not take kindly to that, and gave Dave Hill the win. Now Dave Hill looks like he's going to get it on speed here tonight, unless something happens during the course of the race. But even looking at the LMP, you can go back to even Les Turner, well, Mark Wilson for that matter, top 5 really within a second, which is a pretty decent pace spread there. Robert Cantia not too far back there in the 5th spot. Well, now qualifying is over. Now we are in the cool down section of the qualifying session. So anybody who is live on track, as long as you complete your lap, you started it before the timer went to 0, as long as you complete this lap, it will still be applicable. It will still count for your session, so you can best yourself here, which looks like Mitch Heller will choose not to do so, or the lap was not going to do it. So he is in the pits. Todd Marin-Pietri currently on circuit right now in that number 808 car, and we will be pulling up the track map here for these guys, because just gonna be bluntly honest, I don't know this track nearly as well as I would like to. I did play this track quite frequently back in the Gran Turismo 4 days, which was upwards of 15-20 years ago at this juncture, but I haven't really taken to it on iRacing. So we will be pulling up the track map, and I will be relying on it heavily. Just being bluntly honest with my folks here, that I don't know this layout as much as I would like to. There's Robert Kansian. I don't think his lap's going to count, but any practice that you can get, still advantageous to do so. Coming off the final corner here, 14 corners here on the layout. The front straightaway here is absolutely gargantuan. So a lot of slipstreaming will occur down that front straightaway here. It will be a good opportunity to get by if there is class interactions. These drivers will hope that it does occur down that long front straightaway. Gives them the opportunity to make those clean passes here. But looks like Kansian will take it to the pits here in preparation for tonight's race. So again, we will thank everyone for tuning in here today. If it's the first time, don't make it your last. Hit the like and subscribe button, help us on our growth here on the channel. But you can see here on the top left of your display, the countdown timer is rolling on down. So that means we will have nothing more to do than to go down trackside in just a matter of moments and give you the PTR TV starting lineup here. It's a final switchover will occur, and then here we are. Now these guys will populate down on the starting lineup. So let's give you the formal and official starting lineup here today from the Fuji Speedway. On tonight's overall poll, nothing out of the ordinary. It's going to be Ryan Robertson on the front row with Mitch Heller in second. Third place finds Todd Marin-Pietri, and then Les Turner in the 01 car. Going to be rolling off fourth in class. And then our last page of results for the LMPs is going to be Mark Wilson in fifth, and then Robert Kansian in the sixth spot. First in our GT3 class, going to be Dave Hills, going for, I believe, his third or fourth win on the season. Quite a few. Mark Gadrowski there in second. He's going to try to gain those last few tenths and try to minimize the mistakes. Maybe he will have something for him here. He'll have to do it from the outside of the front row. Jim Graziano, he is in third with David Berry in the Hot Wheels car. In fourth in class for GT3. Fifth is Dennis Griffin. And then Kevin Kyle going to be in sixth. Bill Paulucki and Dwayne McCarthy going to be seventh and eighth. And then we have Ed Sutcliffe in ninth. And then the straggler, Brian Irby. See if he's actually here today. We haven't. Yeah, Brian Irby, he is going to take to the grid here today. We're still waiting on Robert Kansian. Yep, and he will be a last second Larry. He'll get himself registered here. Coming through, you can see there on the left, I guess now it's on the left side of your display where those red barriers are. That would be a chicane, but we will be omitting that. It would be from turn 10 to 11. But we will surpass that, and then we head through 11, 12, 13 into 14. So this also, it's not on iRacing, but they did this actually was a complete straightaway way back in the day. I don't think it still exists here. I guess we'll kind of see if the asphalt is even still there. It no longer is, but back in the day, that was just a straight shot. We're back from my old Gran Turismo days, but coming back on through 14, which is a relatively hard hairpin. And that lets you unwind here on to the front straightaway here at the Fuji Speedway. So the start line will be just in front of us here, where Barney is going to have that flag. You're going to be on the opposite side of the track from where he usually is. But these guys are going to have quite the run up here on that front straightaway. And pace car is still in command here. It's going to pull off in a very short time here. Let's get ourselves underway. Red Sox Racing League race number 5 here at Fuji. 35 minutes is soon to be underway. Got a very long run up here. Couldn't time this any worse if I tried. Still waiting. Waiting some more. Come on, let us go. Let us go there, Barney. We want to get some racing in here. Now we're going to start racing here from Fuji. Heading down the front straightaway. Everybody's going to settle on in. Battle into turn number 1. Not a battle at all. Everyone's just trying to survive. And everybody will funnel on through. Now let's check out our GT3s. They will have to wait until the front straight, or rather wait until the start-finish line. Or I guess they're going to get let loose a little bit early here today. Is the green flag in the air. Dave Hill will get them going here. So now our GT3 battle and dive off into turn number 1. So far, so good. Through turn number 1, you can see there at the back of the shop, a couple guys battling about, trying to settle on into their positions here. We'll pull up the live timing and scoring. That's Robert Cansey in here. He is, I think he missed the grid, so he's actually having to fight through the traffic here and get himself back up. He's going to have a lot of time to do because he's 31 seconds behind the LMP counterparts. You can see there these GT4s, they are in blue, and then our LMP class in that yellow, so you can see the time differential there on that display. So that'll help us out with our class interactions here on the evening. But thus far, looks like we're side by side for third in class, I believe that is. It's going to be Mark Wilson in 323, and then the black car of Les Turner there. Looks like Mark Wilson will be the beneficiary there and gain that position. I think I saw, what was that, Todd Marin-Pietri. I thought I saw someone go a little bit wide there. Brian Irby back of the shot there. He's trying to hang on as best he can there, coming through turns 3 and 4 here. Then this is a long right-hander that we see, long right-hander that sets herself up into a sharp left right here. Corner kind of opens up. Oh, it was following Todd Marin-Pietri there, and then connectivity issues here. So we'll go on board. I think this is Les Turner, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, indeed it is here. He is heading into turn number 10, a 90-degree turn right here. And now this is the final complex. This is 11, 12, 13. Leading up into the final corner here, so you set yourself up, kind of a double apex left-hander there, increasing radius, and then you set yourself up back for the turn 14 hairpin here as he's trying to close in there on Mark Wilson. Todd Marin-Pietri still having his connectivity issues here, has yet to rejoin the world here, so we'll see if that does happen. But Mark Kedrowski did take the lead. So I'm not sure how that happened while we were watching the battle there in LMP, but Mark Kedrowski did take the race lead from Dave Hill. So doing some good things here for Dave Hill. I think I can perhaps pull it up, but no, Dave Hill's trying to go back at it here, and not going to be able to do so. And I think I can go back here on replay, see this pass. Oh, it looks like there was some LMP there. They were just drag racing down the front straightaway. That was Robert Cansey getting his position back there. You can see they were just battling down the front straightaway, side drafting almost as if we're at a NASCAR speedway. And look how hard they were battling into the corner there. But looks like, unfortunately for Dave Hill fans, he did have to relinquish the spot and is currently still about half a second or so behind, which is nothing really to be concerned with. But Mitch Heller trying his best to keep Ryan Robertson honest here, keeping that gap roughly at around a half second here as they currently are on the back end of lap number 3. And trying to get that run here. This is such an important corner here, trying to get off that final corner 14. That way it leads you onto that front straightaway where the slipstream is certainly going to come into play here. You You could see that live timing and scoring. It was half a second. He almost gained 2/10 just on the slipstream down the front straightaway here. It feels like it never ends, getting up to a max speed of roughly 160 some odd miles an hour before you stab on the binders for the sharp hairpin turn number 1. Opens yourself up. Then Mount Fuji there in the distance. Heading into the Coca-Cola corner, which I think is just because there's an ad there. That's why they call it the Coca-Cola corner. And then the wrong 180-degree turn, 4 and 5. They actually call that 2 corners. It's akin to NASCAR, kind of having 2 corners here. Looks like a little bit of lock up there from Robertson there. And 6, he's going to go a little bit wide. That'll pull Heller just that little bit closer. As we'll go back to our GT4 battle here, and Dave Hill, him and Kedrowski are in a slipstream lead battle here down the front straightaway. So I know the GT4s, I've been told they don't draft as much as you'd think, but I think they're doing just enough right now. Looks like Dave Hill is going to go to the left side of the track, and he's going to go full send on the binders here. And Kedrowski just let him have it, surprisingly enough. But, oh, we have something going on. We're battling for the lead. Contact between Robertson and Heller there, exiting the final corner. And that's going to give Heller the lead, but we'll have to go back on replay because that is not racing that we typically see here in the league. Don't traditionally see contact, but I think Robertson may have just been having issues here, and he is in the pits, I believe. Let me just try to go back and see if I can pull that up on replay. Here we go. This is through 14. Oh, he kind of overshot the curbs there. That got him loose. Now, Heller's all the way to the outside. I think he's going for a crossover. Yeah, he was going for a crossover move. And I think he just mistimed it a little bit. But it did give Heller the lead. Now, I guess the biggest questions are, where is the damage? There would be some right rear damage, which seems to be pretty non-visible here. But the front end there of Mitch Heller, that right front, I would be very concerned of. But it looks okay. So hopefully, if you are a fan. Oh, and Ryan Robertson, a little loosey-goosey there. Overshooting it into 10 there, and I think he may be trying a little bit too hard here. Oh yeah, he's trying a little bit too hard, to say it generically, and that is going to hurt him. And let's see if he blends back in. And I mean, normally, you know, this could be ego deflating here, but at a track this difficult, you really can't give up. I mean, we've seen Mitch Heller over the years make self-induced mistakes. So even though Robertson, you know, isn't where he wants to be right now, naturally, after all those mistakes, this is a difficult track. And there's no saying that Heller is going to run a perfect race. He has been much more consistent as of late this season, but you can never write off that no more mistakes are going to be had. So let's see if hopefully Ryan sticks in it and tones it back a little bit and keeps himself situated here. And little track facts here about Fuji Speedway. This track, they actually, back in the origination of the construction of this place, actually had full intent to build a Daytona-esque track here for NASCAR here in Fuji. There was a 30-degree banked corner that they intended to build, and there actually is still the remnants of this turn present, you know, just off in the landscape here. But they ran out of funds and were not able to continue building it. But yes, this track actually was meant to be a NASCAR oval in its preliminary days. I think that was back in the early 1960s that project happened. But interesting little things there. But let's see what's going on. Kedrowski. Again, I'm still confused with Kedrowski. Why he kind of let him go there. From what I saw, he didn't really seem to put up much of a fight with Dave Hill. Now, I wonder if that was intended or not. But he is still keeping him honest there, about 0.6 of a second back. One of the drivers we'll focus on, Kevin Kyle. Well, we got David Berry in third, Kevin Kyle back in fourth, Dwayne McCarthy in fifth, and Sutcliffe in sixth. And then Bill Paulucki and Jim Graziano rounding out our field here. Dennis Griffin has already retired from the race. Now Ryan Robertson coming into the pits. We'll be interested to see if he had any more problems, excuse me, or if maybe he is, yeah, it looks like he may have had another issue, I believe. Or this may have been the same one. Yeah, this was the same one, but just trying to make out what happened to him. He's in the pits for a prolonged period of time here, so I have a strange suspicion that we may have seen the end of Ryan Robertson here in today's efforts, which would be unfortunate, but you know, it does happen. I didn't really talk about point standings. Again, there was a lot going on here, so some of the normal updates that we would have received have, actually, I don't even know if I have the point standings. Let me just gonna do a brief little scroll up here through my sources of information. Okay, we haven't had a race since in a few weeks' time, but yeah, this is race number 5. Oh, here we are. After race number 4, Les Turner is leading our standings for LMP3. He's leading them by about 23 over Todd Marin-Pietri, then Mitch Heller down in third. Dave Hill is our points leader by about 13 over. That's Mark Kadrowski, and then Andrew Humphrey in third. I don't think Andrew is not here today. But we have the drop week, which will be calculated after tonight. So after tonight, they do have an eligible drop week. Next week's race at Daytona is not eligible to be dropped. Oh, Ryan Robertson did get himself back on the track, so to use his fast repair, so he will still chug on. He still is on the lead lap, so for what it's worth, not by that much. But our championship picture will be much more clear after today's race, leading up into Daytona next week. Actually, it's not next week, it's the following week, because next week is build week here on iRacing, and no rain, but we'll see what else happens. We have a couple guys in the pits. That is Robert Kansian, and there was another LMP in there. I think that's Brian Irby, but some serious damage to Robert Kansian. I'll see if I can cue that up, and that is I think Jim Graziano. I just got a cue that he may have had some issues, but he seems all right there. Yep, I do have the trigger of what may have happened to Robert Kansian here. I have no idea what caused that one. He got loose on the straightaway. Can't answer that one. No idea. Cannot answer that one for you. Going back to the closest battle on track, it is going to be our battle for the lead in GT3 by about 9/10 of a second. Kadrowski and Hill. Last time by, actually, Hill was 0.8 of a second faster than Mark Kadrowski, but Kadrowski's staying right with him, so not sure what else, what kind of mistakes may have been had there. Moving on to the front straightaway here, it looks like that is Les Turner, who is going to surpass them both here on the front straightaway. You can see on this very long straight, he's getting that draft off Kadrowski here. Third in class for Les Turner, but he has about 10 seconds in a ways to catch up to Mark Wilson here. And I don't know if he's going to get to Dave Hill before turn 1. I don't think the answer to that question is going to be yes, or I think he's going to take a little fighting stab at it. Mark Wilson, second place. He is roughly 5 seconds off of our race lead, and running lap times about a second or so a lap slower But he is running laps a second faster than Les Turner, so kind of running right in that middle ground right here. It's kind of hard as a driver. You know, you're pulling away from behind, but you're also losing time from ahead. It's kind of a weird mental spot to be in, where you're just kind of running in your own little bubble of sorts. But you know, you find ways to make yourself stay engaged in the race. And looks like Kedrowski is starting to lose to Dave Hill there, but he still has 5 seconds over the Hot Wheels mobile of David Berry. Then we go 7 seconds back to find Kevin Kyle, another 3 or so back to Dwayne McCarthy, and after that we had quite a ways over, a lap down to Ed Sutcliffe and Bill Paulucky. I don't know what happened to Bill. I'm sure something must have happened to him over the course of today's efforts, but he is more laps down than you would expect him to be at this juncture in the race. Not really too much to speak of at the moment. We're we're about 7 seconds up for a lead in one class. Actually, we do have some class interaction of sorts here, and that those 2 cars in screen right there in shot. Kevin Kyle, that is who is that in front of him? One of the McLaren cars. I think it is Ed Sutcliffe, but not on the same lap they are, but they are the closest kind of cars in proximity that are within the same class at present. But again, 2 weeks' time, we'll be heading to Daytona for the season finale. And then again, we do have some question marks as to what will be happening in the future of the league, and given the loss of one of our series leaders here with Terry Dog, an unexpected passing, so condolences to the Dahl family, both his wife and children and siblings and all loved ones. Condolences. I don't know the full entirety. I do know Les Turner, who has been working with Terry for many years now to bring this league to you guys. He's hard at work and has full intent of keeping things going in the same manner that they have been. He does have those full intent, so he says nothing's going to change if he can do anything about it himself. So we'll see what the next schedule brings. Of course, we just got our preliminary news about the next iRacing cycle, development cycle, which will be on next Tuesday if you're watching this live, and there will not be rain, so we will not have that, but we know we will be getting at least one new road circuit, Mugello, out of Italy. That will be added to the iRacing roster. So we'll see. Not sure. Usually they don't run tracks brand spanking new, usually for participation, but there's also rumors of what the car situation would be. This league's heyday for participation tended to be with GT3 and LMP2, so the rumors are that maybe heading back to that direction, but nothing has been formalized. So we'll stay tuned to social media updates for that. But the next season should be going underway, I think sometime mid-second, third week of January. We can expect the 2024 Red Sox racing season to come into existence, so we'll keep our eyes and ears peeled for that. But there goes Dave Hill. Got to hop in some curbs there. That's Todd Marin-Pietri. He has returned back to the world after his connectivity issues, and he's just kind of siphoning through our GT3 leaders here. Kedrowski is doing his best to hang on, and he's running laps that can contend. He's not slow by any stretch, but he's just not as consistent as Dave Hill is, and I think that is the calling card right now, is consistency. We're 20 minutes into tonight's race, and we still do not have well, we do have Ryan Robertson who pitted, but that is because of damage, and Todd Marin-Pietri pit, but I think that was because of connectivity issues. So we're still waiting on our first overall, like, normal pit stops, if you will. Now, trying to look down in the other class, and it's hard to tell because so many guys have come into the pits with damage and other issues that it's kind of hard to see who's pitting on genuine pace right now. And again, there's no real battles on track to speak of at the current moment. Back up to Mitch Heller, who's pulled the gap to approximately 8.5 seconds over Mark Wilson. You can pull up the lap times on the ticker for a brief moment, and you can see there that Mitch Heller has, last time by, I will say Wilson was a little bit better. He wasn't better as in faster, but has made the gap that much closer at about half a second. Down to separation between first and second. Ryan Robertson running laps that again are of the pace of Heller, but unfortunately for Ryan Robertson, he just had that inconsistency, and Heller doesn't have the reason to have to go full bore at this point, so he has the opportunity to just kind of run his pace and keep everything on track, literally and figuratively, and run his own pace, because he's not at a loss. So when that kind of situation happens, you can just keep it on the track, do the best you can, because you know that you don't need to go 100%. You could just go 80, just keep it in between the white line, and the race is his. I think Mitch knows that's kind of what's at play right now, and he is just using the cards that are available to him here. Mark just doing the best he can, trying to take advantage of that second place. Les Turner here in the third spot. He is 13 seconds off of second, 22 off the overall lead, and he has a minute in the bank all the way back to Ryan Robertson, who I think is just kind of using this as a Fuji test session at this point. And take it, and he just ran a 32 second, 1 minute 32, first person to break that barrier. So he's basically just using this as a time trial, which is, a lot of times it's the best way to take advantage of these situations. But there's a race that you're kind of stuck where you are. You can't really gain positions. Don't really have anybody to pass, anything really to race for per se, because I don't think Ryan Robertson, he knows he's not going for a championship this season with his attendance situation. Wasn't able to attend all the races, so just use it as a test. You don't know the next time you're going to run a league race or an official race here at Fuji, and having that extra experience, it always will come into play at some juncture. Looks like Kedrowski now dropped back upwards of 2 seconds off of the lead, and very wide there was Kedrowski, but that's Robert Kansian. He's turning some laps there. He is 6th in the class, and well off pace, but still, again, doing his very best and getting that experience. David Berry, 3rd in class. He is approximately, what is that, about 12 seconds off of the class lead. Dave Hill is just, setting a thrilling pace up there. Only 2 guys currently in that class that are capable of being within the 43-second ballpark, and that is Dave Hill at a 43.8 and Kedrowski at a 43.5. So Kedrowski may have found the magic sauce, but just a little bit too far back for comfort at this point. But we'll see when the first break into pit lane is going to be for the top guys. The pit lane mark here at Fuji, it's going to be right off the front straightaway here as we navigate the back end of the track heading into 14. And you can see how far down the straightaway that pit lane entrance is. So well down the straightaway, but nobody will be pitting upon this lap. may have Dwayne McCarthy and Kevin Kyle battling for the 4th and 5th spot in due course. They are closing in on that. As Mitch Heller, he is going to be the first one of the front runners to draw blood and come to the pits. Again, no rush for him. He can take his time in, doesn't need to speed, doesn't need to push the entry to the pit box. Just park it, get what you need, you know, take a surplus just to be safe, and it's all yours. And Mark Wilson will follow suit in the 323 car. He'll follow suit and come in, and let's just you know, ensure that our race leader has a nice safe pit stop. My mic may have muted itself there incidentally, but yeah, we saw the onboard there with Les Turner. There was really nothing that showed how difficult that pit stop was, so I don't see where the speeding penalty may have came, but this will give Mark Wilson the race lead. So it'll be interesting to see, because now he has a big enough lead over, well, now Heller's back to third. He's 26 seconds back. He's not going to gain 26 seconds in 7 minutes without a mistake. So Mark Wilson may be getting his first broadcasted win here on the channel. I know Mark Wilson back at Watkins Glen a few seasons ago, I thought he was going to have that race won, and a mistake rather late in the race took it away from him. He's in position now to get it. 17 seconds up on Les Turner, 27 up on Mitch, and just shows that sometimes it's not about being fast, it's about being consistent. Now, we're still waiting for pit stops for our GT4 leaders, but Kedrowski has eaten back into the gap, less than a second. Now we'll see where pit stops will come. They're coming through about 6 and 7 right now, and Dave Hill seems to be faster, but I think he's just making a little bit more mistakes. I know he definitely has the overall pace, but he's just making maybe a few more mistakes. Kedrowski may not have the pace, but I think he's actually being a little bit more consistent. So every time that Hill makes a mistake, that allows, you can see he really curb hopping there was Hill. But I think that may have actually been the faster route here, as they'll come through the back of the track. We'll see if they pit this time by. about 5 minutes left in this race, and here comes Dave Hill into the pits. Kedrowski will stay on the track, and we will see if that leads into any kind of issues here. We'll see if Hill makes any kind of mistakes. It should be about 7 to 10 second pit stop. We'll see what it is. Yep, no issues there for Dave Hill. About a 7-second stop. So now what's going to be the biggest contention for him is just going to be the situation of, you know, the in and out time into the pits, and what kind of lap does Kedrowski turn on track right now. Again, I will give credit, by the way, to Mark Wilson. He's running laps not to the same pace of Mitch Heller, but only a few tenths off. So kudos to Wilson, taking advantage of the opportunity, not really not, you know, hacking into the win in the famous words of Denny Hamlin, but, you know, he didn't have the game-winning shot here today. But you pass him the ball, and, you know, he knows what to do with it, and that's basically what's happening today. But we'll see what happens with Kedrowski as he's coming off the final corner here. 3 minutes to go. Only 2 real laps left in the race. And this is going to all boil down to how good of a lap did Kedrowski just have, how good of an outlap did Hill have, and how much fuel is Kedrowski going to take. Is he going to cut it perfectly on the number here? That's going to be very, very important. Where is Dave Hill? Dave Hill is now coming through 13, exiting 14. Kedrowski not even in his pit box yet. You can see there on the top of the shot. Look for that. You can see that white car, the big white car there on the end of the front straightaway. That is Kedrowski. 8-second stop. That is a longer stop than what Dave Hill had. And here comes Dave Hill. Let's see what the merge is going to be. This is for the GT4 win. And it looks as though it's going to be Dave Hill by roughly 3 seconds. Again, an extra second or so of fuel ultimately is going to be what the dagger was, because a second more in the pits is going to equal to, you know, double, triple that on the track. You know, Dave was going at full pace while Kedrowski was sitting, so that extra second will mean a lot more than that. But Mark Wilson, I mean, I think I've been covering these guys since 2018, and Mark Wilson's been with them ever since. I don't think I've ever seen Mark Wilson win a race. Maybe I'm wrong, and I could be, I very well could be, but I don't think I've ever seen Mark Wilson win a race. And I talked about that race at Watkins Glen that I know he had won a few years ago, but, you know, he's going to have a chance here as we come off the final corner, and this will come down to the white flag. We're going to take the last lap with about 1:20 on the clock or so, but a lap time here is 1:34, so this is going to be the white flag here today for Mark Wilson at Fuji. We'll wait for the official timing and scoring. I think you can see Barney there, the flagman. He is waving it, so it's certainly going to be the white flag here tonight. He's up by 19 seconds. Ryan Robertson has taken it behind the wall. But Dave Hill, he is just now taking that white flag, and he has, again, that 3-second lead over Kedrowski. So I'm still kind of wondering what happened, why Kedrowski kind of pulled over and played dead, but we'll see what happens. But this is potentially an active battle for the 5th spot. Todd Baron-Pietri closing in on Robert Kansian. They're going to be diving off into turn number 1. That's Bill Paulucky in the green and orange car. And that will be Baron-Pietri getting, actually it'll be up to the 4th spot as Ryan Robertson filters down the lineup there. But now Mark Wilson coming through the final complex here, 11, 12, 13, and, you know, an arduous week here in the Red Sox Racing League, and it's going to boil down to a longtime veteran of the series. He's going to celebrate here and come through the final corner in the Terry Dahl Memorial race here at Fuji. Coming off the final corner, Mark Wilson. I don't want to say as a career win, first win, but the first win I've ever seen him get. Mark Wilson going to take the checkered flag for the LMP3 guys here at Fuji by 21 seconds. Heller and Robertson fumbled the ball, and Wilson was there to pick it up. And he's going to get himself a victory here. Great job here by Mark Wilson. Dave Hill, he is now on the front straightaway as well. And again, he had the speed. He got the pole. He's done just about everything right. He held off Kedrowski when he had to, had a better pit stop, a shorter pit stop, and he will get himself another win on the season here at Fuji. So a great race here for these guys here at Fuji. And now remember, in the Red Sox Racing League rules, they do have to complete their full lap around and get themselves situated here. Make sure they have enough fuel to get back to the line. You can't run out of fuel before you get to the cone, or you will undergo a penalty. So while they go ahead and run that cool down lap, we'll go down and give you the final rundown of results here today from the Fuji Speedway. Getting our overall win here on the race was Mark Wilson by 22 seconds. He did not lose much of a lead at all. He ran some flyers there at the end. Wes Turner with a second. Mitch Heller, after that speeding penalty, goes down to third. Todd Marin-Pietri gets a fourth. Ryan Robertson, after his multiple issues, drops back to fifth. And then Robert Kansian, he had a rough one. I don't know what happened to him there on that front straightaway. He will settle for a sixth. Dave Hill gets the win over Mark Kedrowski there. I think he had the car to do it, but Kedrowski really fought him. Kedrowski will have to settle for a second. David Berry gets the third. Kevin Kyle fourth in class. Then our last page of results here on the evening. Dwayne McCarthy in fifth. Bill Paulucky in sixth. Jim Graziano and Ed Sutcliffe seventh and eighth. And then we have Brian Irby and then Dennis Griffin in their respective classes. They will finish shotgun on the field. So we'll wait to see if any of these guys are going to have a brief word with us over their victories. I don't think I've ever spoke to Mark Wilson. If memory serves, I don't think I ever have. Dave Hill usually does always end up popping in here with us. Well, he will exit right there. We'll keep his car on screen just in case. And then Dave Hill just there as well. So we'll see if these guys do join us for a quick word. But want to thank everyone for tuning in here to PTR TV for today's race. Red Sox Racing League, again, our condolences go out to the Dahl family after losing our leader here, Terry Dahl. And, make sure you stay tuned for next week's race at the Daytona International Speedway as we had our Season 5, Series 6 finale there. But here comes Mark. I mean, I've been covering you guys since 2018, and I think this is the first time I've ever talked to you on the podium, man. They fumbled the ball in front of you, and you were there to pick it up and run it in the end zone, man. Talk about that race.
Yeah. Well, this was not the race that I thought I would win this season, and I did believe I would win either Willow Springs or Long Beach, which obviously I didn't. It was nice we had the break because I had the flu for 2 weeks, so I had a chance to, I'm about 90%. And I didn't do a lot of practicing out here, which is because of that. So I was surprised, but once I saw P1, and as I passed Mitch leaving the pits, I go, he must have got a penalty, and I'm going to take advantage of it. And every broadcast, I hear you saying, hey, Mark has almost won a race. I remember back when. So now you can say Mark has won a race.
Yep, and the other thing I always say is that Mitch Heller always makes mistakes, and he did that today. But you get the win at a very difficult track. Now next week, I know, actually I don't remember where you stand in the standings, but next week we head to Daytona for our season finale. Daytona, a track that everybody knows inside and out. What's your confidence level heading there next week?
Well, I'm going to tell you, slow and steady. No, not slow, but steady. Steady and keep the car where it needs to be and capitalize off of an individual's mistake. I mean, Ryan and Mitch, I mean, they just have so much pace. And all I do is just let me just stay with them and, see what happens.
Yep. Can't win it if you ain't in it, man. And that's what you did here today. So congrats on a win. And we'll see if we can start talking to you a little bit more often.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And let me shout out to my guys, Big Dave and Les, and also, my condolences to everyone who watches the broadcast and knows what happened to Terry. And I'll see you next time. All
right, man. Well, we'll catch you. Congrats on finally breaking through.
Thanks. Bye.
And now we have not second place. We have Dave in the GT4 class. Another win. I think it's, 3 or 4 now, but not as easy as it may have looked. Mark kept you steady there, and it looks like you shorted him here in the pits by about a second, and that gave you just enough of a lead to hang on there at the end.
Yeah, I was starting to question myself if I took enough or not, because usually he's pretty bang on with his fuel calculation, so I was like, oh crap, I won't be finishing. And then just as I pulled into the pits on the cool down lap, my engine started to cut out, so I pretty much nailed it. And I chatted with him briefly afterwards, and he admitted he took too much, so that gave me a little bit of breathing room on the last few laps out of the pits. And it was a good back and forth there for a bit. Could have went either way, I think.
Yeah, there was one opportunity that I was a little perplexed about. It was down the front straightaway. You went to the left on him entering turn number 1, and you outbroke him from the outside for that right-hander into turn number 1. It seemed like he just backed off and gave it to you. And then I never saw him really close in enough to, make a charge on you after that. Did you expect him to roll over and play dead like that, or did something happen that I didn't catch?
No, I actually thought the exact same thing, to be honest. I tried to outbrake him just to maybe spook him a bit or whatever, and just hang on the outside, make him fight a little tighter on the inside, and maybe come out even or something. But then when I saw him go by in my mirror, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna take it. But yeah, I was actually surprised by that too.
Well, I don't know how the drop week situation's going to hold out, but I know Daytona's next week. You're up by 13 heading in today. We'll see how the drop week works out, but Daytona, a track that everybody has run 87 million laps at through various races, 24s and all that. So how do you feel about, grabbing yourself a title at Daytona in 2 weeks' time?
Yeah, for sure. Daytona should be fun. I enjoy that track, and like you said, there's been a million laps run there, so feel pretty good, but still want to maybe get some practice in and see how that goes. It'll be the first time with this car there, so I'm excited about that.
And it won't be raining, as we've now found out. So congrats on another win, man, and we'll see if you can wrap it up in 2 weeks' time.
All right, thanks, Corey. I just want to shout out to the Red Sox. Obviously, unfortunate news this week, so we're thinking about everyone that was close to Terry. I only knew him through iRacing, but the chats that we did have together, the interaction, he was nothing but a great guy. So he'll be missed by many people.
Echo those words, my friend. We'll let you go, and we'll talk to you soon, I'm sure.
Okay, thank you, sir. Bye, Corey.
See ya. All right, well, that is a broadcast again here on the evening. Want to congratulate both of our winners here. Mark Wilson and Dave Hill. And again, condolences out to the Dahl family and our Terry Dahl Memorial race here. And we'll go get them next week for you, Terry. I'm sure you're liking what you see, and we'll miss you. But that's Corey signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.